Was the White House very forceful in its hope that you all would support the bill? Or how would you describe how the White House worked with you?
Yeah, good conversations. We know a number of the people, Dr. Price, Mick Mulvaney, folks we used to serve with, Vice President Pence. The president was good as well. But in the end, it was about the legislation.
Right.
Remember, the lesson here is don't try to pass a bill that only 17% of the country approves of. That's a problem. You know, Mr. Priebus was talking about don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Well, this wasn't even good. When no one likes the legislation, you have to do it different. That's what we were saying. It wasn't going to bring down premiums. It had a host of problems. And frankly, the key promise we made the American people in the 2010, 2014, and 2016 election was we would repeal Obamacare. This legislation didn't do that. And that was the fundamental flaw in this entire process. So let's get back to work and let's do what we said we would do.
Mark McKinnon?
Congressman, you all did an amazing job of holding together under a lot of pressure from the president and a lot of others. My question is, were you unanimous within the caucus about a bill that you all agreed on?
Yes, yes. We had introduced the clean repeal, the very thing we voted on 15 months ago. In fact, we thought that's where the process was going to start. Just 6-7 weeks ago, we thought that was going to be the first thing we introduced, was the very thing we all voted for that we put on President Obama's desk. And then we had a separate piece of legislation that was replacement legislation sponsored by Congressman Sanford on the House side and Senator Paul on the Senate side. That was our plan. That's the plan that's consistent with what we told the American people. That's what we thought we were going to do, or at least something like that. And instead, we get this mishmash of a bill that's hidden away, introduced 3.5 weeks ago, no actual hearings where you have witnesses, no amendments allowed to be offered, binary choice, take it or leave it, that only 17% of the country likes. That's the problem.
Congressman Steve Ratner, that may all well be, but I think there are a couple other factors to bear in mind. One, your bill would have required 60 votes in the Senate to pass, not 50 votes in the Senate, because it couldn't have been done under reconciliation.
Not the clean repeal. Not the first part. Go ahead.
It could not have been done that way, correct?
Well, the clean repeal could have been done. The repeal of Obamacare could have been done. The same thing we passed 15 months ago and put on President Obama's desk. That could be done through reconciliation. But remember, the leadership's plan was a 3-step process. It had 3 phases to it. So if they were going to be able to get phase 2 and phase 3, why can't we get our second part, the part that's going to require a few Democrats to do the right thing in the Senate and pass it? Why couldn't we have done that as well once we'd repeal it? In fact,
because
Democrats
you weren't going to get the Democrats. But look, the heart of the question, the heart of my question is this, which is, so you failed. You ended up with Obamacare 1.0 still being the law of the land. Why was not the bill that the House leadership and the president proposed, which would have made a number of changes, many changes in your direction, gotten to maybe Obama, call it Obama 2.0 if you want, why was that not better than 1.0, which is what you're stuck with now for the foreseeable future?
First of all, just like I said before, Steve, 17% of the country didn't like it. It didn't repeal Obamacare. Even Krauthammer called it Obamacare light. Not me, he did. So, and he was actually for it. It didn't bring down premiums, which became the focus. We were willing to work and try to get there, even though it was a bad bill, if it would at least bring down the premiums for middle-class families. And CBO said premiums are going to continue to rise for the next 3.5 years.
And then